The modern human mind is rarely quiet. We spend most of our waking hours managing a relentless stream of notifications, anxieties, and overlapping thoughts that leave us mentally exhausted. For centuries, millions of people have used the Hindu month of Shravan to push back against that exact type of mental turbulence. They do this through a highly specific, ancient practice, offering water to the Shiva lingam. The central object of this ritual is a physical anchor. The lingam is solid, immovable stone, resting inside a quiet, dedicated space, a stark physical contrast to a racing, distracted mind. On the surface, pouring water over a stone structure seems entirely basic, yet practitioners consistently report immense mental peace and a sudden drop in anxiety after performing it. We have to ask how such a simple physical act triggers that specific psychological shift. It is an experience shared on a massive scale. Across the globe, enormous crowds of people deliberately step away from their daily routines, uniting in absolute focus around these water shrines to seek out that precise internal clarity. The Shravan offering provides a structured, accessible framework for grounding the brain and stabilizing internal focus. The psychological work begins before a single drop of water is poured. It starts with a mandatory step called sankalpa, or a solemn resolution. Practitioners stand before the deity and clearly state their personal desires, intentions, and commitments. This requirement forces the individual to articulate exactly what they want, stripping away vague worries and forcing them to prioritize their goals. This abstract visualization shows exactly how that mental shift works. These scattered data points represent our usual erratic, disorganized thoughts. By forming a sankalpa, those scattered anxieties are pulled from chaos, converging into a single, highly directional beam of intent. Psychologists call this cognitive focusing. It is a deliberate, conscious action that clears out the background noise of our daily lives and sets a definitive, unshakable direction for the brain. Gathering the water and stepping into the ritual space acts as the physical manifestation of that internal commitment. You can see the intense, purposeful grounding on the faces of those preparing to make their offering. Sankalpa successfully shifts a passive, wandering mind into a state of active, bound concentration. The brain is now primed for the physical action that follows. With the intention set, the auditory phase begins. The practitioner begins a continuous, rhythmic chant of a very simple mantra, Om Namah Shivaya. They synchronize that verbal chant with the physical act of pouring a steady, unbroken stream of water over the lingam. Tying a rhythmic vocalization directly to a precise physical action builds an incredibly strong sensory anchor. This cyclical flowchart illustrates the resulting cognitive state. The continuous feedback loop between the physical motion of pouring and the auditory input of chanting forms a tight barrier. It effectively blocks out external noise variables, forcing the brain into a state of deep, active meditation. As this dual sensory loop occupies the mind's full attention, there is no cognitive bandwidth left for the internal narrator, the self-referential voice that normally critiques or worries about the future. In this state of total engagement, the practitioner's sense of ego naturally recedes. When that persistent internal chatter is silenced, the underlying psychological state is no longer clouded by doubt. This absence of mental friction is experienced as a surge of calm confidence and clarity, a shift viewed as the grace of Lord Shiva. The ritual's power lies in its ability to overwrite chaotic mental noise using a singular, steady vibration of physical action and sound. Beyond the individual mind, the ritual centers on an element with an absolute biological weight: water, the fundamental material that builds and sustains every living cell on the planet. Interacting so closely with water during the month of Shravan directly ties the individual back into the larger, vital cycles of the natural world, perfectly coinciding with the arrival of the life-sustaining monsoon rains. Taking that life-giving element and offering it to the Shiva lingam acts as a profound gesture of gratitude. It is an acknowledgement of nature, the life cycle, and the very architecture of creation. That deep respect for the natural world is physically woven into the enduring ancient spaces where these offerings have been preserved and practiced for centuries. The ritual operates simultaneously on two distinct levels. It is an act of honoring the vast external universe while meticulously purifying the quiet internal universe of the human mind. Offering water in Shravan synthesizes psychological grounding, cosmic gratitude, and spiritual empowerment. It ensures that the devotee who finishes the pour walks away with a mind that is clear, positive, and deeply at peace.